This is the Barnegat Lighthouse, a landmark that defines the northern tip of Long Beach Island. For the teenagers staying nearby, the beach was a setting for a standard summer weekend, a place that felt entirely disconnected from any sense of risk. Looking at this aerial view, you can see how the island's geography creates a specific kind of proximity. The houses are packed into man-made fingers of land, separated by narrow lagoons. It was here, in this maze of water and docks, that 16-year-old Charles and his friends found themselves unsupervised for the weekend. The house itself was built for accessibility rather than security. The back of the property sat flush against the lagoon, with no fencing, featuring a rear deck and a spiral staircase leading to the upstairs bedrooms. From the pool, Charles spotted 4 figures standing on the dock directly across the channel. Then came the noise that changed the tone of the night: 4 distinct splashes. The 4 figures were in the water, swimming toward the house. The group scrambled inside and bolted for their car. In the frantic rush to leave, they focused on the ground floor entrances, but overlooked the sliding door on the upper deck. They left it completely unlocked as they sped away to find the police. This is a Boston whaler, the same model owned by Charles's family. When the police eventually arrived, they found the upstairs bedrooms ransacked. The thieves hadn't left on foot. They had taken this boat right off the dock to make their escape. Investigators found it notable that the thieves knew exactly where to look for the keys. They were hidden in a small, obscure hatch beneath the steering wheel, a detail that led the police to suspect the culprits had spent time on the boat before that night. In a lagoon community, the water is a shared backyard. This layout turns a private home into a stage, where anyone on a neighboring dock can observe a family's habits, their property, and exactly when they leave for the night. The case went cold for years. The boat was never found, and the narrator moved away, carrying a new habit of obsessively checking his window locks. It wasn't until a high school reunion that he reconnected with Charles and learned about a second encounter with that stolen boat. Charles's younger brother, Kieran, had been out on the water with friends in the family's replacement boat. They were drinking underage and had taken the vessel out without permission, looking for a place to hide from the local Marine Patrol. This marshland is part of the Edwin B. Forsyth Wildlife Refuge. Kieran anchored near Carl Island, a remote patch of land sitting deep within these protected wetlands, far from the residential lights of the main island. The refuge is governed by strict environmental laws. Humans are entirely prohibited from being on these islands after sunset, meaning anyone found there at night is, by definition, trying to avoid being seen. After swimming to the shore to hang out, the boys noticed a second boat anchored further down the beach. It was sitting low in the water, appearing deserted in the middle of the restricted zone. Kieran swam out to get a closer look. Despite the years that had passed, he became convinced he was looking at his family's original Boston whaler. It was the same size, the same hull, and it was anchored in a place where no one was supposed to be. The refuge's isolation provided the perfect cover. By utilizing an area where foot traffic is illegal and police patrols are rare, someone had managed to keep a stolen vessel hidden in plain sight just a few miles from where it was taken. The teens had a choice: call the police and admit they were drinking in a restricted area, or leave. Without their phones to take pictures, they decided to swim back to their boat and get out before they were spotted by a ranger. As they walked back along the beach, a man appeared from the dunes. He wasn't a ranger. He was carrying a shovel, and as soon as he saw the boys, he began running directly toward them. The boys scrambled into the water and climbed onto their boat. Kieran looked back and saw the man had changed course. He was no longer following them on foot, but was sprinting back toward the stolen whaler. Fleeing, they were immediately slowed by New Jersey's boating laws, which mandate a no-wake speed after dark and highly visible navigational lights. Forced to crawl across the bay, Kieran could hear the steady hum of another engine trailing them through the dark. The very laws designed to keep boaters safe became a trap. Kieran and his friends were pinned between the threat of a police citation and the person following them, forced to remain exposed until they reached the safety of the main channel. Kieran eventually told his parents everything. They filed a report about the boat and the man with the shovel, but the police found no one on the island and no trace of the vessel. The investigation ended there. The details that remain don't fit into a clean narrative. We're left wondering why the thieves stayed so close to the scene of the crime for years, and what a man was doing with a shovel on a protected marsh at midnight. It's likely the boat was repainted, or the registration numbers were altered, allowing it to hide among the thousands of other whalers on the Jersey shore. In a busy coastal town, a stolen object only needs a coat of paint to become invisible. For the teenagers, the night began with a fear of getting grounded for drinking. By the time they reached the dock, that fear had been replaced by the realization that they spent an hour being hunted in the dark. The narrator still checks his locks every night before bed. For him, the story didn't end with a police report or an arrest. It ended with the knowledge that the people who swam across that lagoon and the man on that island are still out there, entirely unaccounted for.